Welcome back to a YouTube that has been a very long time. I'm really praying that the settings on the camera look okay, because I haven't used this camera in a very long time. But welcome back. Oh my god, it has been a hot minute since I've made a YouTube, since I've sat down to even think and talk. I had everything done out on the laptop of like what I wanted to kind of come through in this YouTube, with a little bit of a life catch up and where I'm kind of at the minute and what has kind of been going on over the last while, because I know there's so many questions and everything that is coming in. But you know what, I'm actually not going off this anymore. I'm not going to go off what I had written down, because I like things to be natural. I like them to be authentic. I like for what I'm saying to just flow. That's just me. That's how my content is. I don't like anything kind of, obviously like to be organised and scripted, but I do like it to be authentic, and what comes out is what comes out. So who knows what you're going to get today, but I'm going to keep this YouTube to like 10 minutes on a little bit of a catch up. Okay, so I'm obviously in Miami and I'm having the best time ever. But let's bring it right back to the last YouTube. So the last YouTube was on prep, and it was it was the prep series, and that was kind of the last roundup of everything of where I was, and that was back in March, April. So May and June, we're obviously in July now, but May and June was a new location. It was starting over. It was finding my feet here. It was choosing where I wanted to be. And I did say the reason I came to Miami was because last year I said I wanted to go to America somewhere, and I wanted to kind of do a few places in America and see what it was like. And I never done it. And this year, when everything happened, obviously I went through a breakup with Josh, and he was part of this channel, like he was in a lot of the videos, and I don't really ever feel like I should have to delete anything like that, just because like it shows like my timeline and where I kind of am at now. And I hope that if anyone is going through a breakup at the minute yourself, and maybe you're struggling and you're a little bit unsure if you're on the right path, always know that like those dark days and those sad days and the heartbreak and having to go through that, like that's what makes you stronger in the long term. And for me, I couldn't even make a YouTube on it, but I did feel like in a way I owed people an explanation, when that's not the case at all. But when you share your life online, it's hard for people not to question that. It's hard for people not to ask questions, and I totally get it. Like there was so many people that were like, what's going on? Like, is he coaching you? Is he not? Like, what was it? And to be honest, like I'm not going to share what happened in the relationship, but I'm so much happier right now, and that's all I'll say. I send love to anyone that's going through shit, and I have come out a different person since I've got here. So when I came here, I was obviously nervous. I was a little bit overwhelmed. Everything was very raw. Like we broke up back in March, by the way, and I had the last like 4 to 6 weeks on prep to just try and push through. And there were so many times when I was gonna pull back and I didn't, and I just kept going. So I was super proud of myself for that. But I went to an event here, so I went to Awaken You, and that was the event that genuinely changed my life. It was all about like working on the inner healing, trust, your masculine, your feminine. And I've noticed in every relationship that I've been in, and even for myself, like I had been living in my masculine my whole life, obviously with the absence of my dad, and that was just who I was. I was the female boss, and that's what I loved. And I realized that like if I want to get into a healthy relationship, if I want to attract someone that with the level of standard that I'm living at, and the level of standard that I have for myself personally, how I carry myself, how I feed myself, how I train, my circle, my coaches, my business, like everything like in my life is at a high standard. And if I want to meet someone, and I'm not saying that they have to be rich or whatever, I just mean on the standard that I want, like I have to attract that. So I had to become that person. So that's kind of how that whole journey started. And then I was just delving deep, and honestly it's been a crazy journey, but it was the best thing that I've ever done. And it was realizing that like the patterns that I was living by, oh my god, like so many things I used to tell myself that just weren't true. So there's a lot there. I might actually do a separate YouTube on Awaken and on that event, because I think people will be like, wow. But you do need to go to one. I think they're doing one in London next year. But came to Miami, found my feet. I was living at South Beach first of all. If you are coming to Miami, I highly recommend staying in South Beach. Brickell and Miami down here. This is more like city life, more Dubai style. And that's something people are asking me, are you going back to Dubai? And I don't think so. Like, I don't think I'm going to go back to Dubai. And that was my place. Like, you know, if you're following me, like, that's my place. And I've totally flipped my mindset. I'm a new person. I think when you grow and you have growth spurts, sometimes you outgrow a place or you don't feel like that's your place anymore. And home to me is not Ireland. It's not anywhere. Like, it's where I feel happiest. And right now it's here, and this is where I love the people, I love the vibes, I love the network, the community, and people are very friendly. There's so many connections here. Like, I love it. Like, I am an American girl deep down. So yeah, I love it here so far. The plan is to stay here for another couple of months, then obviously Hyrox. So at the start of the year when I wrote out my goals too, let's bring it back to that as well. I set myself the bodybuilding competition out. That was the first time, it was one time only, and I loved it. It was a challenge, and it was amazing. But I wouldn't do something like that again. It was to tick it off and to say that I had done it instead of ever having a regret. And that's something that you should really think about. If you ever have regrets, or if you're like, will I, won't I? It's like, why would you not and learn? Even if you don't succeed in it, it's a failure, it's a setback, and you learn from those things. And nothing is ever a mistake. It's always just lessons, and I think that's where that growth comes from too. So I learned a lot about myself throughout the prep as well, like the discipline that I had, and pushing through hard times, going through a breakup at the end, and still coming out on top for myself. But I did lose myself along the way. For a while I was numb, like I really was. Like, Jade got me through so much of it. I had the most amazing friends, like my team, honestly. Like, I know you girls will watch this, like, I love you so much, because like when things were starting to fall, like they just had to, we all held it up for each other. And Grace always says, like, when it rains we hold the umbrella up for each other, something on the lines of that, and we all get under. So yeah, I just think it's so important to have that right support circle too. So yeah, I set myself out some goals, and that was one of them at the start of the year. After that, I said I wanted to do a little bit of travel, and then I wanted to do a Hyrox. So when I came here, I started running, and oh my god, running is not for the weak. Like, trust me, this is hard, but it's like an amazing mental challenge. And I started running just for fitness as well, and because I was so sick of the Stairmaster after prep, I was like, I actually can't do that any longer. It's either skipping or running. It's like, fuck, I'll just try and run. So start with the run, really light, just working with like 30-minute blocks, whatever I could do in that. I think I was doing like 33 minutes, was like 3k. So I was really, it was slow, like, but I didn't care. It was more just for the challenge, and it shouldn't be about that. Like, as you go, you do start getting a little bit stronger and fitter, and you're like, do you know what, like, I'm gonna push for a little bit faster time, and that's when you start challenging yourself. But if you followed me a while, you know that I love conditioning, I love workouts, I like working from home sometimes as well. That's where my whole online business started, with the skipping, or with the Zooms, and that was like the big thing, the live classes and the Zooms that I done on Instagram as well. Like, that's where everything kind of evolved. So when I started kind of missing that was when the bodybuilding finished, and it wasn't because like what's next, it was more like I wanted to live for a little bit and just take a little bit of a step back, work on the business, push forward again, and make sure everyone in the team was all good. Like, they had my back, so I was like, right, time to go again. And then it was when I got here, obviously with the running, and then I was just like, I think I want to do a Hyrox. I'm seeing it everywhere, and I love that type of challenge. Like, I've seen people doing it, and I'm like, that looks like a bit of me. So that was really it then. I just said, you know what, we'll do it. And my partner is super duper fit, so I've got a lot of training along the way. And I need to know, for my own clients and for yourself, anyone that's new here, maybe you're not my clients, but I'd love to know below in the comments, please comment something underneath. Would you like if I document my whole Hyrox journey? It's like 15 weeks. I'll document every single week and bring you along to a session. I'll bring you along to where I'm starting, my heart rate, my recovery, my food. Food has been brought up a little bit as well. And I'm keeping in my weight training. That's something people think that you can't do everything, and trust me, you can. Like, you can do everything. It's just you have to have it like properly designed out. You have to know exactly what you're eating, fueling your body, hydration, any supplements or anything like that. I would love to bring everyone along, but I want to know, like, if I was to document this, would people be interested in like a program on the lines that after, if I want to walk myself through it first, because I can't say to someone do something if I've never done it. I don't think that's right. I think you have to know what it's going to take, what your stamina needs to be like, what your fitness level needs to be like, how did I recover, what was my food like, sleep, can you weight train alongside it? So there's a lot there that I want to learn about myself over the next couple of weeks, but I'd love to know if I document everything, would it be something that you girls would like? So just let me know below, because I know it's such a big thing at the minute. I am doing mixed double, so I have to do the weight that the guy is doing, so I have to make sure that I'm strong. So that's like, it's such an exciting challenge. And you know me, I am all in or nothing approach. Like, if I don't go all in on something, I won't do it, and I'll literally won't do it at all. But if I'm all in on something, I'm like I am so dedicated to it. So yeah, and then at the end of this month, I'm going to bring you to California with me. I am going to the event that I went to, Awaken You. I've signed up to the program, to the mentorship for the year, and I'm going to Palm Springs at the end of this month. I'm going to bring you along to that. And then the Hyrox that we're doing, I'll keep you posted on that. That's like another YouTube. But yeah, I just wanted to kind of come on. I don't need to apologize or anything like that, but I do like to sit here, and I love chatting to people, and I love kind of communicating and networking and having these connections, even though it's only through like a social page, like my Instagram or even through YouTube. But it means a lot when people comment below and you give me a little bit of an insight. But yeah, I'm really excited. I'm a different person. I'm sure you've probably seen that through my content, but right now, the person that you see sitting here, like, that person who I am right now has taken a lot of work. It's taken a lot of sacrifice. I basically packed up and moved everything that I thought I wanted and loved at home, and I made a new life. And like, sometimes I don't know why it's not that I don't know why I get emotional, but I think like everything that happens to you for a reason, and it's so hard to break away from something that you know you should have left a long time ago, or people and places that just don't align well with you. And I hope that anyone that's listening to this, if you're feeling the same way, like, that's your sign. There is no other better time than doing it right now. And it's like, everyone sees me living here and they're like, you're in Miami, it's amazing. And it is amazing, but like, it's been so hard. Like, I have been really isolated, and I chose that because I knew that, like, if I could work really deep on myself, and I went back in on like my inner child and everything that kind of happened along my timeline, and things have happened, and I don't want to be the person that can't trust someone. I don't want to be that type of girl and leader. And even for myself, like, I know the person that I am, and I'm really like pulling back all the layers. And just know, this is what I'm trying to say, is just know that it hasn't been easy, but staying was harder. And like, it was the breaking away that was the hardest thing from my life, from the relationship, from the identity of the person that I thought I was, and it wasn't. And it's true, that uncomfortable feeling and that in and out of like, what am I doing? Like, your gut always tells you the answers. But I am honestly so grateful for all the lovely messages. And yeah, it's been hard. Like, it has been really hard, but in the best way possible. And you have to sometimes be by yourself, and you have to really, really work on yourself. And like, this is what I'm doing. I'm feeling uncomfortable with things that I'm saying sometimes. I'm feeling uncomfortable with different situations, but that's when I'm pushing through, and that's when I'm doing a lot of reflection back, and I'm like, that made me feel really weird, but that's how I should be feeling. Or say, for example, like, different emotions, and being a little bit more in connect. Like, even my girls that work with us, they're like, Ciara, like, you're like a different person at the minute. I'm a lot more empathetic. Empathetic, is that the word? Yeah, I think it is. Empathy. I've got a lot more like empathy there, that I'm not so cold and hardcore, and that's the person, like, I want my feminine side to come out, but it just wasn't able to do that for a long time. So yeah, that's the plan anyways, and then I will update you on the Hyrox that's coming. But yeah, let me know below, is it something that you would like me to document the whole way? I'm going to document it anyways, but like, would people be interested in me in coaching them for something like that as well? Because that's what I will need to do for like the finer details, and anything I do, like, I want to become an expert at it, so that's why I'm putting myself through this as well. But yeah, very grateful that people subscribe to the channel, that people comment, that people send me messages about the podcast and any YouTubes, and I've got the camera out. Hopefully this looks alright, it's going up regardless. But yeah, I hope that inspires anyone as well that feeling a little bit stuck at the minute. It's really exciting times ahead. We've got 6 months left of the year. So write some new goals down. If you want to use my goals workshop that I done last week with the girls, give me a text on Instagram, I'll send it to you for free. It is something that's like 20 minutes, 15-20 minutes out of your day that you'll realign yourself. You'll take a pen to paper, you'll take action, you'll question yourself, because sometimes that pen and paper comes out and you're like, don't really know where to start, and that's all right as well. But when someone gives you that just little push forward, that's when you can kind of make that decision again. So yeah, that's really it from me from now. It's a little bit of a roundup in a couple of minutes as to where I am, what I'm doing, and yeah, again, thank you for all the lovely messages. It feels really nice to be back, and next one I will see you will be maybe a day in the life in Miami, or else one of my Hyrox sessions. So yeah, I'm really excited for the next couple of months, and anything that you want to know, pop them below, pop me a DM on Instagram, Ciara_Rossi, and I will see you on the next one.